time, please, and about your practice has been over. I'd like to remind the spectators that the use of flash cameras for the signing of autographs during competition is prohibited, and they use these sounds for cell phones. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. The start of the round robin competition of this year's BPAA All-Star Women's US Open. How about a nice round of applause for the ladies on this squad? Thank you, Gerald, for not coming up. Good luck and good bowling.
You good? Good morning, everybody. Well, ready to get started here with our match play portion of the BPAA Women's All-Star at the Cherry Bowl in Rockford, Illinois. I'm Lucas Wiseman, Matt Cannizzaro here as well. We've got 8 games of round-robin match play this morning and 8 more this evening. And in between, we've got some senior bowling that we'll be live streaming here on Bowl TV from the Senior Women's US Open. So we've got 8 games this morning, starting off with Jen Higgins versus Marsha Klumpkin and Shannon O'Keefe against Danielle McEwen. The winners of each match get 30 bonus pins added onto their tally from qualifying. Lanes have been pretty tough this week. We've had low scores and expect that trend to continue here in match play. More information on this tournament can be found at bpaa.com/tournaments. Good morning, Matthew.
Hello, sir. How are you today?
I'm good. So we got O'Keefe versus McEwen, Higgins versus Klumpkin to start things off. There's 16 bowlers in the field in the BPAA Women's All-Star Tournament. They will all bowl each other one time, and then we'll finish with a position round this evening to close out match play and determine the 5 who make it to the stepladder finals, which will be broadcast live here on Bowl TV tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Time. You can do us a favor and post a link on your Facebook and Twitter and get some more folks to watch. Pretty early in the morning, so a lot of folks still finding the live streaming. But we're going to be on for probably about 3.5 hours or so with this round. And then this afternoon at 1 p.m. Central Time is the stepladder finals of the Senior Women's US Open. Later this afternoon, the championship match of the Senior Women's Triple Crown Shootout will be here on Bowl TV sometime around 4:30 Central Time. And then at 6 p.m. Central Time tonight, the BPAA Women's All-Star participants back on the lanes for their final 8 games of round-robin match play. So that's kind of the schedule for today. And then, as I mentioned, tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern will be the stepladder finals of the All-Star. So good opportunity to waste away your lunch break tomorrow if you're out east. And you can find the standings at bpaa.com/tournaments. Someone in the chat asking if they've posted the bracket sheet. There's no bracket for this tournament. It's round-robin match play, which means the 16 players who advanced in the match play will bowl each other once, and then a position round for game 16. And each win is worth 30 bonus pins, a tie is worth 15, and a loss is obviously worth zilch. Don't expect too many high scores today. It's going to be pretty low. We've watched the players really have a hard time with this challenging lane condition here at the Cherry Bowl. A lot of eyes looking at the ground yesterday and not very many smiles as they finished qualifying. So a pretty brutal day on the lanes for a lot of people yesterday.
Well, we talked a lot about that, and the players actually, for the most part, their preference is that the lanes be a little bit more challenging. You have to go out there and earn your spot, and they certainly did. Took a score of plus 37 to make match play here at the All-Star. That's just a 202 average for 18 games. Brittany Hamilton, Team USA member, snuck in that last spot. And our leader, Diana Zabielova, plus 293. And she really excelled yesterday when the lanes seemed exceptionally tough. And again, scores very low throughout yesterday's qualifying rounds. And on the senior side, minus 285 to make the top 8. And the leader there, Tish Johnson, minus 91 in the top spot. So a struggle across the board, and very talented field nonetheless. And all glad, of course, for the opportunity to come and compete. And a premium on shot making for sure, and we'll see a lot of that today. And some very familiar names and faces as they compete for the $15,000 top prize here.
Yeah, and I think that doubles are going to be at a premium today. Spares even more important. Anytime you get on tough lane conditions, spare shooting becomes exceptionally important, and also avoiding splits. It's pretty much what it comes down to when you've got low-scoring patterns. And so, I mean, you can tell we've had one double in 3 frames on our featured pair here. Featured pairs, I should say. And that's Jen Higgins has got spare double to start. It's going to be a grind for sure to make it through these 16 games. And pretty much, and Matt, you can tell me you looked at the standings a little closer last night. Pretty much everybody has a chance to make the top 5, I think. You know, nobody is so far behind that they don't have a legitimate shot to make it into the top 5. A lot of games left, 16 games and 30 bonus pins, so certainly can make it.
The bonus pins is where it's at here, and we talked to Tish yesterday on the senior side, and like she said, you know, that's really your opportunity, 30 pins a game, to separate yourself from the field if you're, of course, the front runner, and a great chance to make up some ground if you're not. But 16 players left here at the All-Star, all vying for 5 spots, and it's the one to fill the frames, I believe, today, who are going to make the move. And as you said, with so many games, that's a ton of pins out there just in bonus pins alone. And you don't have to bowl a huge score, but of course, you shoot 220 and win. It's quite a amount of pins you're going to make up on the field here.
Good morning to everybody in the chat who's tuning in. Just a recap for you, since we've got twice as many viewers now as we did when we went on the air, and it'll keep growing, I'm sure. We're live in Rockford, Illinois at the Cherry Bowl. This is the BPAA Women's All-Star Tournament. Match play, round-robin match play. First game kicking off here this morning. Game 19 overall in the tournament, but just game 1 in the round-robin format. And the winner of the match gets 30 pins. Loser gets none. Tie would be 15. And again, we do expect relatively low scores, although sometimes the scores can go up a little bit in match plays. You've got the 16 top bowlers breaking down the lanes. But we'll have to wait and see. The score is pretty low in qualifying this week, and you can find the standings at bpaa.com/tournaments.
Lucas, I'm looking at those standings right now, and Jen Higgins is actually in the 5th position coming into match play, just 135 pins behind our leader, Diana, who is striking down on her end pair. She seems to be the only one. Started with 3 in a row here, and looking to build on her lead, but certainly not a big distance between 5th and 1st right now.
Brian wants to know in the chat if the standings will be updated after each game anywhere. They will not, but we will read them off to you as we receive them. Put in a request to get the standings after each game, so hopefully we'll be able to give you an update as we move along here after each game. Shannon O'Keefe looking for the first double in that match. 10 pin. It's another thing that I think it's kept the scoring pace down this week is they put new pins in a few days ago, and that always makes things a little tougher.
well, with so many games throughout the week, 18 games of qualifying over 3 days, and the opportunity to see most of the pairs in the house here, if not all of them. Diana said, you know, she had not a lot of trouble getting to the pocket this week, but had some carry trouble. And of course, that's when she came to the TV pair and struck it up. And certainly learned a lot, though, during those 18 games, she said, and helped her make some decisions along the way that she's definitely going to use here in match play, especially if she's having trouble getting the 10 out, for example. So a couple of different options and ideas as they saw both Fresh and Burn throughout the week. Looks like just one left-hander in the field here, Shannon Pluhowski. So she'll have the left side all to herself down here at the All-Star.
That's again strikes at a premium on this tough pattern, and we've seen it already through half a game, low scores, and you know, one double in both these matches combined. Jen Higgins, the only player with a double, and we expect it to be a real grind today as the players try to make a run here at the stepladder finals. They got a lot of games ahead of them today. 16 games is what they'll bowl today, and that will give them a 34-game total that will determine the stepladder field for tomorrow. And they've used the same pattern all week long. And if you would like to take a look at it, it should be at bpaa.com/tournaments is where you can find the pattern. If you go to bpaa.com/tournaments, you'll see the Hall of Fame extravaganza at the top, but then below that is the section for the All-Star and the Senior Women's Open. And the lane pattern is 39 feet. It's a total of 27.55 mils of oil. It's relatively flat. It's you know, a little less than 2 to 1, closer to 1.5 to 1, I think. Some parts of the lane. So if you've ever paid attention to the U.S. Open on the men's side, they're on hiatus this year, but known for traditionally low scores. This is pretty much along the same lines of what you would expect. It's a very challenging pattern this week. Jen Higgins steps up, back-to-back splits, gets the 10 pin to fall forward for the strike.
O'Keefe on lane 11 now, looking for her first win in her new home state. She's in the process of moving to Illinois.
Yeah, I think they're moving next week to Illinois, where her and Brian will become the head coaches at McKendree. Well, rare opportunity for a double here. Marsha Klimpkin working on a strike, 7th frame. Comes up a light, leaves the 2. McEwen had a chance for a double. Instead, it's a Greek church right through the face. I see one bowler who's really bowling very well to start things off here. We can't see everybody, but Cassandra Luthold had the front 4, 8 spare 3-bagger, which is exceptional on this pattern. And looks like Missy Parkin is bowling pretty well, 169 in the 7th this game. We can't quite see everybody, but those two are far and away the best this first game. Diana Zaviolova, front 3, 9 spare, 9 missed double, so she's bowling pretty well as well. But other than that, most of them are going to struggle to get to 200, it looks like. I think it would be safe to say that 200 is going to be a good score today. But we'll have to see. That, you know, the lanes are going to break down a little different than they have all week, given that you've got the 16 best players now bowling and breaking them down. You have gotten rid of the people who struggled a bit in qualifying, kind of mixing up the transition. So they could potentially get easier. A lot of the times we do see scores go up a little bit in match play portions of tournaments or after cuts are made. So we'll see what happens. Right now, Klumpkin leads Higgins by 4 pins going into the last 2 frames. And Shannon O'Keefe leads by 32 against Danielle McEwen. 2.5 frames to go.
Well, Lucas, we saw a lot of Aberlon pads out this morning as the players were looking to battle this 39-foot pattern. And we'll see most of the right-handers playing farther to the outside of the lane. Of course, a lot of games going to be bowled today. But by doing that, playing outside with a little bit of surface, try to break down that outside area and create yourself a little bit of room. And then they'll slowly migrate left. And they'll have some missed room to the right, probably ball down at that point. And they should open up a little bit. So I imagine scores are going to be a little bit higher towards the end of the block as they battle through this fresh condition. Great shot there by O'Keefe. Basic strategy in breaking down the lanes, and we see that quite a bit. And a lot of talented players and talented spectators here looking to help.
Well, the women tend to break the lanes down a little bit better than the men do. They all tend to kind of gang up on the same area of the lane, which could help the scoring pace a little bit later on in this block. Like I said this morning to somebody, this is the kind of week where the ball reps earn their paychecks, because they've been running around like crazy trying to help these players. And it's easy to be a ball rep when players are striking and you don't have to do a whole lot, but when the lanes are real tough, everybody's looking for answers. Klumpkin with a chance for a double. There's another double. We got 2 doubles so far this morning on our live stream pairs. Told you folks, pretty tough out here. And Marcia now leads by 15 going into the 10th. And Shannon O'Keefe makes the spare, and she is still up by 32 with a frame and a half to go. Remember, the winners of each game earn 30 bonus pins. If there's a tie, it's 15 each. Marcia getting ready to step up here in the 10th frame, can max out at 216. Higgins can only get to 191. And Marcia goes a little high, leaves the 4 pin on the double. And she's going to be at 195. That's enough if she makes the spare to lock up the win here in this opening game. Shannon O'Keefe is going to defeat Danielle McEwen here in game 1. I'll tell you that Luthold is going to defeat as Beatty. Cassandra with 235. Deandra can get to 215. Missy Parkin opens in the 10th for 214. She's easily going to beat Allie Ijams. Diana Zavialova, no problem defeating Jody Westner. Diana can max at 236. Jody only looking at a max of 162. Liz Johnson leading Shannon Puchowski by 10 pins with a frame and a half to go.
The players did say that the more they put out this pattern this week, the tighter it seemed to get down lane. So of course the surface that they're using, just trying to chew up that oil pattern a little bit in the front part of the lane there, and on the back you take away the entry angle like that, and you're going to see a lot of flat 10 pins, and we certainly did see that. But again, as the lanes open up, a little more angle to the pocket, you should see some bigger scores as the day progresses.
Well, our opening game coming to a close here. It's going to be Klumpkin and O'Keefe picking up the wins on our featured pairs. So with 16 games of round-robin match play, we're showing 2 pairs. That means that each player is going to make it on a couple of times, at least a couple of times here. Yeah, should make it on, what, 4 times each player? Should make it on the featured pairs 4 times, I guess, over the course of 16 games. Because there'll be 2 games on each of the pairs that we're using. Danielle McEwen with 162. Shannon O'Keefe can max at 205. O'Keefe clean through 9 frames and strikes first shot in the 10th. Jen Higgins strikes out for 191, loses by 4. Klumpkin finishes with 195. So 30 bonus pins for Marsha Klumpkin to start things off this morning. And 30 bonus pins for Shannon O'Keefe as well. Diana Zavialova going to be at about 225. She's got 1 more ball to throw. Jody Westner shot 162. Shannon O'Keefe gets a double in the 10th, shoots 193, and defeats Danielle McEwen. 203 is a good score. It's like Shannon Puchowski going to come back and try to beat Liz Johnson here, off to the left of our featured pairs. Liz shot 179. Puchowski strike in the 9th, strike first shot in the 10th. And just threw the second one in the 10th to pick up the 30 bonus pins. So players move now. After game 1, looks like we're going to have Cassandra Luthold against Jen Higgins on 11 and 12. Puchowski 191 to 179 over Liz Johnson. Danielle McEwen against Shannon Plahowski in game number 2 on 9 and 10.
So match 2 underway already. We're speeding along. Just 22 minutes for that first game.
Yeah, a little faster than I thought. I thought we'd be at about 30 minutes, but 22 is pretty good. And they got to move, of course, so that takes a couple of minutes. But I figured the scoring pace being so low would cause them to bowl a little bit slower this morning. But keeping up the pace, we don't have anywhere to go anyway, so it doesn't really matter. We got to sit here all day, watch bowling. Not too hard for us, but we do have the senior women's U.S. Open stepladder finals coming up this afternoon at 1 p.m. Central Time. It's the scheduled start time. I would imagine they'll probably stay pretty close to on schedule for that. The senior women are bowling down on the high end. They've got 8 games of round-robin match play to determine their final 4 for this evening, or this afternoon, I should say.
So I'm gonna guess they're gonna probably get done even faster. They don't mess around down there. They just get up there and bowl. Looks like they're already partway through game number 2. Right now we're behind lanes 9, 10, 11, and 12 here at the Cherry Bowl in Rockford, Illinois. Danielle McEwen and Shannon Plahowski, Team USA teammates. And on our right, Cassandra Luthold and Jennifer Higgins. Higgins just coming off a TV show at the Queens. Back-to-back top 5 finishes there for her. We're still looking for that big breakthrough performance. Perhaps it'll come this week at the BPAA Women's All-Star.
Plahowski just fresh off a win against Liz Johnson in game 1. She put together a few clutch strikes at the end to steal that game from Liz. Now taking on Danielle McEwen.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Sandin make a serious run here today. Again, the only left-hander in the field of 16 at the All-Star. So once she gets locked in, she can do some things. However, every pair she goes to essentially is going to be fresh at this point. She can figure out that fresh condition. She could be dangerous throughout today.
You're just tuning in, you're watching Bowl TV's live coverage of the BPAA Women's All-Star Tournament here at the Cherry Bowl in Rockford, Illinois. We're in game 2 of round-robin match play. Got 8 games in this morning session, another 8 games in the evening session to determine our final 5 for the stepladder finals. We hope you'll join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central, 12 noon Eastern. Take your lunch break with us here on Bowl TV tomorrow to watch the stepladder finals of the BPAA All-Star Tournament. Luthold bowled a good first game, picked up the win in her opening game to grab 30 bonus pins, and as you're looking at the scoreboards on your screen, you can see the total bonus, total points for each of the players on the featured pairs, and you also may see some scrolling scores in between these scoreboards, and those are the standings. And on 9 and 10, the scroller is the Senior Women's Open. So if you're interested in that, you can check out the scrolling on 9 and 10, and on 11 and 12, it just updated, is the scroller for the All-Star. Zavialova in first, Plahowski in second. Cassie Luthold moves up to third. Marsha Klimkin now in fourth place. Jody Westner in fifth. Just got handed the standing. Shannon O'Keefe sixth place. Jen Higgins seventh. Liz Johnson in eighth place. And separating fifth from 16th is just 120 pins or so. So really that shows you that anybody can still make it. And separating second from fifth is about 50 pins. So it's still pretty tight. Diana Zavialova is about 130 above the field. On the senior side, after game one, Paula Vidal in the lead by a little more than 50 pins over Tish Johnson. Lucy Sandlin is in third place. Linda Kelly is in fourth. But again, still very close all the way down on the senior side. Jan Schmidt, Sharon Powers, Mandy Wilson, and Lil Johnson, all with an opportunity still to make it into the step ladder.
It did seem like yesterday, the tougher they got, the stronger Diana seemed to bowl. Started today with 225. Obviously she is the player to beat here today, and she's way down on the far end right now. So we'll keep an eye on her and see how things develop.
That ball reaction from Danielle McEwen looked pretty good on that right lane. Have to see if we see things start to shape up for some of these bowlers.
Shape up or shape out. Marsha Klumpkin moved all the way up to fourth.
Yep.
In game one, now she started game two with 3 consecutive open frames.
She got a strike though. That's like the reverse Wiseman jinx here. You have the good luck charm. The Canizaro luck.
I think it's going to be a definite roller coaster of a day. Not sure that we'll see anybody really pull too far ahead.
Just when I say that Danielle McEwen's ball reaction looked pretty good, she goes right through the noggin and leaves the 4-6-7.
just like any super challenging lane condition, Lucas, get to the pocket. See a lot of 9 counts just because of the volume of the oil, and the Kegel ice oil, very slick. But you throw a bad shot, and it seems to be a disaster almost every time. We've seen some very creative splits and washouts throughout the week. Not sure that these players have too much experience on this oil at all. We saw it at the Open Championships. It was introduced just last year in 2013. We used it in 13 and 14. And, it became readily available to the general public late in 2013, but not sure how many bowling centers it's found its way into at this point. Kegel, of course, the official lane maintenance provider this week here.
Do we use that oil at the Queens, Matt?
I believe we might have. Of course, the other side of that is the fire. So fire and ice, and the ice designed to hold up longer and delay that transition. And of course, plays a little bit slicker. The fire hooks a little bit more than the ice does. We use the fire at the Women's Championships. It certainly brings a new dynamic to the sport. Just when you thought you had it figured out, lane patterns look a whole lot different with these new oils, but the new Kegel Flex machine laying down the ice this week here at the Cherry Bowl.
Yeah, and thanks to Kegel for their providing of the lane machines used this week. Kegel, a great supporter of competitive bowling for sure. Well, again, if you've come to watch Bowl TV expecting to see a lot of strikes or hoping for high scores, you're in the wrong place. I would advise that you go to your local bowling center if you want to see that. You're not going to see that here for sure. Here this morning, as we've got a very, very tough pattern, challenging what is basically, I mean, a field of the best women bowlers in the world. I mean, there's no doubt that the best of the best are here this week, and most of them are right here in match play. We've got a lot of the folks who've been around quite a while, Wendy McPherson, Liz Johnson, Kelly Kulick, and you've also got an influx of the newer bowlers like Danielle McEwen and Brittany Hamilton, Diana Zaviolova, Ali Ijams. So it's a nice mix of players here in this field. And again, it's so close that anybody can make the stepladder at this point. And top prize this week, $15,000 of the $75,000 prize fund, which was generously contributed to by Storm and the Bowling Proprietors Association of America.
Well, there are a few different international events going on this week and nearby. We're not seeing many of our international players, but if I was going to make a list of the best players domestically, certainly,
yeah, there's a few who are missing because of work commitments or whatever, but a majority of them are here, I think. Yeah, we also had the Pan American Sports Festival last week, which that drew away some of the American Zone participants like Claire Guerrero, Kayla Johnson, Sarah Loper, quite a few of those types who went down there to bowl in Mexico. But still a great field here this week. A small field, but a very talented field.
103 total players, 75 at the All-Star, and 28 at the Senior Women's U.S. Open. It's still very good money, despite the size of the field, and terrific sponsors this week. $15,000 on top at the All-Star, $3,000 for our senior winner. And the All-Star will pay 20 spots. So 20 out of 75. It's pretty solid. In our two matches here, McEwen and Pluhowski. Puhowski with a 20-pin lead through 6 frames. And on our right, Luthold and Higgins. Luthold, tough spare there to 3-6, 9-10. She is clean through 6 again. And has a 14-pin lead over Higgins. All you really got to do here, Lucas, I think, is make your spares, throw a couple strikes in there, and you're going to have a very good day.
Yeah, 190-200 is going to win a lot of matches, I think, this morning. Or at least early on the fresh.
See a good variety of equipment out there as well. All the major brands well represented here today.
And once again, if you want to see the standings, you can see them right here on Bowl TV. The senior women's U.S. Open standings are scrolling in the middle of your screen on 9 and 10, right between the scoreboards there for Danielle and Shannon, and the All-Star standings are in red on the right side of your screen, scrolling between Cassie and Jen's scoreboards. Top 4 make it on the senior side. Top 5 make the stepladder on the All-Star side. Danielle looking for a double. She's down 20 right now. Puts double on the board. Now down by 10. 2 frames to go. Jen Higgins, Cassie Luthold in a very low-scoring match. As Jen gets that 7 to go down for a strike. And Jen now leads by 2. 3 frames to go. Talking about how many lefties there are in the field, and Shannon Puhowski's the only one on the All-Star side. Tish Johnson, of course, on the senior side. Are there any other lefties? I'm not sure. I don't
believe so.
Could be wrong.
Yeah, she was it.
They're kind of far away from us.
Yeah, again, certainly familiar names on the senior side as well.
But there really weren't that many lefties here this week as a whole, so. Higgins with a double. 12-pin lead now for Jen. As her husband, Dan Higgins, gets awfully excited about that.
Dan, big supporter and a great bowler himself. Actually talked to him yesterday. He is now on the radar at the Open Championships after back-to-back top 10 finishes in team all events. And talking about getting them on the live stream next year, maybe.
Hey, never know. Might as well.
Get him some airtime as well.
Yeah, if you know of any exceptional teams that are going to be bowling the Open Championships next year in El Paso, you should write Matt Canizaro on Twitter at USBC Matt. Tell him to get them on the short list.
Sure.
You guys are always looking for new teams to live stream at the Open Championships. So, yeah, write Matt at USBC Matt. There you go. Give you a Twitter plug there.
I like that.
Matt needs some more Twitter followers. So
another 5,300 and I'll catch up.
And you can follow USBC at USBC, and I'm at Lucas_Wiseman. But I always say the easiest way to find us all on Twitter is just go to Twitter and use the search bar and type in USBC, and all of us should pop up there, and you can give us all a follow. And while you're on Twitter, be sure to post the link to the live stream. We've got still 6 more games to go after this one this morning. So we're kind of down to the end of game 2. Right now, Puhowski with an 11-pin lead over Danielle McEwen. Puhowski can shoot 208, and Danielle McEwen can strike out for 207. So Shannon can shut her out.
I'm trying to see down there how Diana's doing. It looks like a little bit of a seesaw match there with Brittany Hamilton. But Shannon Puhowski only about 120 pins behind. And a strike here for Shannon will lock up the victory and the 30 bonus pins. Get her that much closer.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have many questions answered this morning in terms of who our top 5 are going to be. I mean, you may have somebody pull away from the field and maybe like Diana and be in good shape, but with so many games this evening, 8 games with 30 bonus pins for the wins, really everybody's going to still probably be in contention for the most part. You might have 1 or 2 people who fall behind, but a lot of people are going to be in contention going into our final round this evening, starting at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern here on Bowl TV. Here's Higgins. She's starting to string some strikes together here, playing a little deeper than some of the other players, and 4 in a row for Jen, and she's going to win game 2 and pick up the bonus pins against Luthold. Danielle McEwen can strike out to tie Shannon Plahowski. Here's the first one, and she leaves a flat 10. Well, 4 in a row for Higgins is far and away the longest string of strikes we've seen on our featured pairs this morning in 2 games. She pulled that one. That's the difference between what you bowl on a house shot in your bowling center and this pattern. If you pull it and miss left like that, you're not going to strike. You're not even going to hit the pocket. Whereas on a house shot, you might have some holding room, and that might hold pocket and either strike or 4-pin, and it's not going to even be close here. But Jen comes from behind. She was down by 18 pins early in this match, and comes back and shoots 205, and the best that Luthold could shoot is 197. So a nice win for Jen Higgins, who has made the Queens show 2 years in a row.
So I was just looking down the list of our 16 players. I think 13 of them have been on a Queens or US Open TV show in the last couple of years.
You would know. You do the TV notes, so you do all the bios for all the players, so you're pretty good at remembering all that stuff.
And then, of course, the others have been in the mix. So the real up-and-comer in the group is iJams, great collegiate player, just making her way onto the scene here. So everybody else has been around for some time in various capacities.
207-195. Shannon Plahowski defeats Danielle McEwen, and Jen Higgins 205. Luthold going to be at 177 with a strike on the fill. Marsha Klimkin having a nightmare game off to our left, 118 in the 9th. Wendy McPherson going to be at 204. She spares on the fill. So McPherson picking up an easy win. And down on 5 and 6, Missy Parkin going to be at 195. Kelly Kulik working on a double heading into the 10th, can shoot 225. And they didn't catch the scores on the higher end. They flipped too quick. And I couldn't see who won some of those matches, but we'll get the updated standing scrolling as soon as things get moving here.
I guess it looks like Diana can only shoot 170 this game, and maybe 180, but Brittany Hamilton in control, looks like.
Yeah, Diana can shoot 181 this game. And Brittany can shoot 201. But Brittany just split. That's kind of far away from us, though. Now we got Plahowski and iJams coming up next on 11 and 12. Still waiting to see who we're going to have on 9 and 10. On the senior side, Paul Haddad leading by 96 pins now. Picked up a couple of wins early. Remember, they only bowl 8 games this morning, so they're coming to a close pretty quick here. But it's really close behind her. Lucy Sandelin in second place. Again, 96 pins off the lead. Tish Johnson just 16 pins back in third, 16 pins back of Lucy. And then Mandy Wilson is 70 pins back of second. And a little bit of a gap between fourth and fifth. It's 42 pin advantage for Mandy Wilson over Linda Kelly, who is in fifth. But still, all of the players from fourth to eighth are within 100 pins of each other, with six games to go on the senior side.
Right now, iJam's not wasting any time, stepping up. Started her match against Bluchowski here on 11 and 12.
She's 0-2 so far today. You can tell because it says 0 bonus pins on there. And Shannon Bluchowski 2-0 with 60 bonus pins. Those bonus pins can add up in a hurry, especially when the scores are low. They have a much more significant impact than when the scores are higher.
We saw Allie come out to an early lead here this week at the All-Star. And was hanging around the top 2 or 3 first couple days. Dropped down a little bit, but found her way into match play. But right now, digging a little bit of a hole. As you said, some players may fall behind, but still early on it's pretty tight. Bonus pins haven't come into play too much, but iJam's was 16th after the opening game of match play today. McPherson and Luthold to our left. First title of Wendy's career came back in 1986 at the U.S. Open. She was just 18 years old. Of course, the All-Star later became the U.S. Open. Wendy with dozens of titles in the decades since. USBC Hall of Famer. Three Queen's titles to her credit.
Just tuning in, you're watching our live coverage here on Bull TV of the BPAA Women's All-Star Match Play Round Number 1. We're in Game 3 of 8 in our morning session. 8 more games this evening starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time here on Bull TV. Step ladder finals for the Final 5 going to be tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Time right here in Rockford, so noon out east. And a little bit earlier for those of you out west, 9 a.m. start time. I think that's a pretty good time of the day for live streaming step ladder finals because in my experience, more people watch while they're at work during the day, which I'm sure that their bosses don't appreciate, but we definitely have pretty good audiences during the workday here on Bull TV for whatever reason.
If your boss does say something, just tell him that we said it was okay.
That's right. Yeah, just tell him you're still being productive. And of course, if you do have to actually work and you can't tune in, it will be available on demand, of course, like usual at youtube.com/BullTV. Just got the updated standings from our exquisite tournament director, John Lacido. Diana Zavialova in first place. And actually her lead shrunk a little bit with that bad game that she had. She is now leading, boy, it's too early in the morning to do this kind of math. 62 pin lead for Diana over Shannon Pluhowski. Jody Wessner in third place. Jenny Higgins in fourth. Shannon O'Keefe is in fifth place now. Cassie Luthold is now in sixth. Liz Johnson 7th. Alicia Current is in 8th place, and still everybody still has a chance, but the gap is kind of starting to get a little wider for Allie Ijams down at the bottom of the standing. She's in 16th place, and she is currently about 170 pins out of 5th. So you don't want that margin to get too big, but unfortunately, usually you do see that in these events, that you'll have a couple of bowlers who will be down at the bottom who really kind of fall out of the mix down the stretch. That's the way things work when you get the round robin match play with all the bonus spins. We only have four players who have not won a match yet this morning. And that's Liz Johnson, who's 0-2. Deandra Beatty's 0-2. Danielle McEwen's 0-2, and Allie Ijams is 0-2. And by the way, they flipped where the scores were, the standings scrolling were. So now the All-Star is on 9 and 10, and the seniors are on 11 and 12. If you see the line of text scrolling through, and I know the blue on white's a little hard to read if you're watching the live stream. If you go full screen, it makes it a little easier to read those scrolling scores for you. Craig in the chat says that 9 o'clock is too early for retirees to get up and watch. I guess 9 o'clock, he says Eastern time, but it's 9 o'clock Western time. Pacific time, I should say, out west. That's when the step ladder will be. But if you're retired, then you should have nothing else to do throughout the day. So, you get up early, watch the live streaming, and take a nap. Solves that problem, right? We got noon tomorrow, Eastern time. So we'll have the step ladder finals of the BPAA Women's All-Star. Luthold looking for a double. Crosses over, leaves the 6th pin. Already has her hands full here with Wendy McPherson early in this game.
IGM stepping up on lane 12, already 0-2 today, and falling behind early to Plahowski. But you can't put a price tag on experience, Mr. Wiseman. And IGM, the youngster of the group.
Yeah, I'm sure Allie will be happy with her performance so far this week, but I'm sure she'll step it up here and down the stretch and make a run at this thing. Try to get back in it. Wendy McPherson. A lot of success over the years for the Hall of Famer. 3 strikes in a row for her right now, and she's way ahead of Cassandra Luthold. Up by about 35 pins after just 4 frames.
If you did make match play this week, you're certainly getting your money's worth of your entry fee.
Yeah, for sure.
18 games of qualifying, 16 games of match play here today.
And you have to wonder, Matt, with they're not being a women's pro tour for what, over 10 years now. How many of these women are used to bowling 34 games in a week? I mean, that's not that common these days.
Well, most of them had a pretty good experience out in Reno.
Yeah,
just
Queens.
a couple of weeks ago, they had the Women's Championships, the Queens, the Open Championships, the Bowler's Journal, the 40-frame game. They stayed pretty busy out there. I know a lot of players actually had to make the choice, just given the timing, and as you said, no pro tour for more than a decade now, so all the former players have moved on and got real jobs, and players coming out of college today going right into the workforce, so having to use their vacation time wisely.
Blahowski's looking pretty lined up.
Well, we talked about that earlier, her being the only left-hander. Once she figures out that fresh, every pair is going to be fresh. We've seen her throw a few strikes. We saw her shoot 300 at the Open Championships after struggling a little bit at the Queens, and finish her trip in memorable fashion.
And Matt, you're left-handed, so I mean, you know that when you're a left-hander and you're the only one in the field, if the lanes are really tough, they're not going to get any better. But if you can figure it out and get lined up, they're also not going to change very much either, for the most part.
Well, and Blahowski certainly can find a way. She's got the experience, the knowledge, and the support to be able to find the look. And like you said, it will stay for the rest of the day. She has closed the gap, just 60 plus pins behind Diana coming into this game, and already with a 4-bagger here. So anytime you can throw 4 in a row on this pattern, you're going to be in really good shape. Diana at the absolute very end of our...
Yeah, I was trying to see where she was. We can't even see the scoreboard down there. So please do us a favor this morning. Post the link. It's been a live streaming on your Facebook and Twitter. And get some more folks to tune in. We've got 451. That's not so bad considering it's 9 o'clock in the morning here in Rockford. We've got a full day for you today of live streaming on Bowl TV. Coming up this afternoon at, let's see what time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time is going to be the Senior Women's U.S. Open Stepladder Finals. And then at some point after that, we don't know for sure exactly what time, the championship match of the Triple Crown Shootout. That's for senior women. Probably, I would guess, that that'll happen around 4:30 Central Time, so about 5:30 Eastern. And then the All-Star back on the lanes this evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time with their final 8 games of round-robin match play.
Brittany Hamilton making her climb from the 16th spot all the way up to number 11 already with 2 wins. Marcia shot 134 and dropped from 4th to 10th. But we're going to see a lot of that throughout the 16 games, no doubt. Wendy now with back-to-back open frames, opening the door a little bit for Luthold here. Luthold working on a strike. Cut the lead here to 12.
Wachowski still up big, almost 40 pins, 3 frames to go. Shannon potentially putting up another big game here. Be sure to subscribe to Bull TV here on YouTube. It's not going to cost you anything. We're always free here on Bull TV. But if you subscribe to the channel, you can get updates when we upload new videos. And all you have to do is click the subscribe button. There should be one on your screen. And if there's not, there's a link in the description of this event. If you just hit show more, you'll see a link to subscribe to the channel. Got quite a few subscribers now, Matt. If you ever pay attention to that number, but see what the latest update is. 31,758. Pretty good number. So do us a favor and subscribe to Bull TV. Put a lot of hard work into all the videos we do, so we would appreciate it if you would just take a moment and subscribe to Bull TV and show us a little bit of support. Luthold coming on strong here, back half of this game, 3 in a row. She steps up in the 9th and fires it in there, leaves the 10. She leads by 9 pins with the spare. iJam's down quite a bit here. 27 pin deficit for her. Seniors bowling at a speedy pace down there. Just got the updated standings. Paula Vidal still in the lead, but margin has shrunk a little bit here. Lucy Sandlin in 2nd place. Just let's see here, about 30 pins back, 31 pins back of top spot. Tish Johnson in 3rd. Mandy Wilson in 4th place. Linda Kelly is in 5th, just 32 pins back. A little bit of a gap has opened up between 4th and 6th as Mandy Wilson is more than 100 pins ahead of 6th place. So things starting to shape up a little bit clearer down there on the senior women's U.S. Open side. And right now, if they stayed the way they were, Vidal, Sandlin, Johnson, and Wilson would be your players for the show this afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern Time right here on Bull TV. Wendy McPherson going to have a chance to come from behind here and take game number 3 against Luthold. What exactly Wendy needs will depend on how Sandra finishes out. She gets you 202 And that would force Wendy to go strike 9 spare to shoot 203. We do know that Shannon Plahowski is going to win this game against Allie Ijams, and Shannon going to be undefeated. I'm assuming she's going to make this spare. Shouldn't be any problem for the Team USA member, and she covers it up. So Shannon going to be 3-0 today. Allie going to be 0-3. A 2:15 game with a strike on the fill for Plahowski is a pretty solid score here early this morning on this tough batter. Boy, Jody Wessner just shot 139. Jen Higgins is going to be at 176 in that match down there. Very low scoring. Another low scoring match. Kelly Kulik has 123 in the 8th. And Shannon O'Keefe, 127 in the 8th. So these are very, very challenging lane conditions that are really putting all these players' skills to the absolute test here. I see too many smiling faces out there right now from a lot of these players. Here's McPherson. She needs strike 9 spare to win this game. That would give her 203. She gets 8 on her first shot in the 10th, so Luthold is going to win this game.
Folks, once again, we've been here all week long. 18 games of qualifying over 3 days, and now down to just 16 players here at the BPAA Women's All-Star. 16 very familiar names. If you want to check the standings, you can find those BPAA/tournaments. Check out the daily recaps on bowl.com. All kinds of great news and notes. Also a link to the standings in the story each day. Our third game just wrapping up across the house here. One of our featured pairs, we'll see Wendy McPherson and Jody Wessner. Most of the folks still bowling game number 3, so should be a short break here.
And we'll be back in just a minute. You may see a technical error message, but need to do a restart real quick. But we'll be back with you here in just a second. All right, back up and running here. Sorry for that problem. Wanted to correct something real quick, but hopefully good to go now for a while. We didn't miss much, just about 2 frames here of Game 4. Alicia Current against Allie Ijams, Wendy McPherson against Jody Wessner in this game. Just tuning in, watching our live coverage of the BPAA Women's All-Star here on Bold TV. Round 1 of match play. We've got 8 games for you here this morning. We are in Game 4, moving much faster than I expected. Matt, you were right. They're rolling pretty quick. John Lucido just handing me the updated standings after 3 games. Diana Zavialova still in the lead, and she leads Shannon Plahowski by 51 pins. Missy Parkin moves all the way up to 3rd. That's what happens when the scores are low. People jump around quite a bit. Sandra Luthold, 4th place. Jen Higgins in 5th. And there's a difference between 1st and 5th of about 160 pins. 6th place now, Shannon O'Keefe, but she's only 9 pins out, so very close. 7th place, Alicia Current. 8th place, Liz Johnson. And you can see the scores scrolling in the blue. Hopefully you can read that on 9 and 10. That's the All-Star scores. The scores in yellow on 11 and 12 are the senior women's open scores. But again, Zavialova, Plahowski, Parkin, Luthold, and Higgins, your top 5 in the All-Star at this point. Ijams looking for a double, and she gets it. And she's got a pretty decent lead here on Current after Current had a couple of opens. Back-to-back splits in the 2nd and the 3rd. It's given Ijams a 23-pin lead. Jody Wessner, she was right up there in the standings coming into today and really has dropped like a rock. All the way down to 9th place for Wessner after 3 games today. What position was she in coming into today, Matt?
She led the first 2 rounds and dropped to 2nd.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Diana went around her yesterday, but she said initially coming in this week, and she saw it at the Queens as well. Struggling on the fresh a little bit, and clearly that is the case today. Yesterday also, everybody competed on the fresh condition, and she struggled a little bit. Had enough of a lead though to stay in the top 2. Certainly plenty of time to get back up in the standings, but it seems like it's way easier to drop 8 or 9 spots than it is to climb your way back. So we'll certainly see. Still very close for even iJams, who's in 16th place right now, to jump into the top 10. Just pick up a nice game, 220, 230, and a victory, and
sure, right back in it.
Push you right back in it. We've seen a couple 130s, 150s so far, so it's going to be 16 games of that for sure.
Lanes are pretty brutal, and they have been all week, and I think they've actually gotten progressively harder as we've gone along this week. Still very challenging again this morning, as once again 200 is a great score. Usually for these best female bowlers in the world, I would put par at 220, but today it's the scoring pace is at least 20 pins below that a game, probably more. A very U.S. Open-like pattern here this week. Like I said, this is the week when the ball reps earn their paychecks, staying on their toes, trying to help everybody out best they can. And I only say that because Jim Callahan from Storm is sitting right next to me. It says the bar tab's higher too. That is true. I have seen an exceptional number of bowlers who have been enjoying an adult beverage after squads this week. It gets the challenging lane conditions could lead you to need to relax a little bit. Another strike for iJams. Like you said, Matt, she could pop a big game here. Right back in the mix. She's got 3 strikes in a row.
Well, perhaps some nerves early on. Again, she spent 4 years at Wichita State, so certainly not a stranger to the big stage and all of the legacy in that Shocker program. It's hard not to be a little bit starstruck looking around and seeing the other 15 players in this field. I know even us sitting back here get that starstruck feeling when some of these ladies walk by. Maybe not Lucas. Lucas has been around long enough too. Wendy Mack has been accomplishing things across the globe since back in our T-ball days. Wendy, of course, the first woman to win a regular division title at the USBC Open Championships. Player of the decade, I believe, in the 1990s at least. Maybe even the decade that followed. Still striking after these years. Except right there where she left a 10-pin.
I just took a picture of Wendy and Jim talking strategy and posted it on Twitter.
Good thing it's just a picture, not audio.
I know, right? If you want to check out that picture, you can go to my Twitter account at Lucas_Wiseman. This is how you get more followers, Matt. You got to give the folks people what they want. I'm going to check out a behind-the-scenes picture here, behind the cameras, of Wendy McPherson talking with Storm's Jim Callahan. You can follow me on Twitter at Lucas_Wiseman, or just go to Twitter, search for USBC, and click the follow button for USBC, USBC Matt, USBC Aaron, and Lucas_Wiseman.
I'm sure I'll pick up a few tricks in the next couple weeks. Not only travel-wise, but now social media-wise. From the wise man. And there's another great shot by iJams. Trying to maintain her lead here over Alicia Curran. Alicia finished second at the USBC Queens in 2011. Also a top collegiate player and collegiate coach. Without the ladies tour, many of the players able to still travel the world and bowl a little bit, or lend their talents to the next generation. As we talked about earlier, Shannon O'Keefe now becoming the women's head coach at McKendree, paying it forward.
And I'll bet you a nickel, Matt, that photo that I tweeted will get a retweet from Jeff Riggles. Bet you a nickel. Oh, Wendy up by 14 on Jody. A few frames to go. Allie needs to make this baby split, or she's going to let Alicia right back in this one. Get 30 bonus pins to the winner each game. Allie shooting the baby split. Missed it to the right. Open frame for her in the 8th. So Alicia pulls to within 11. That open frame. Virtually even the match with another strike in the 8th. This just in, Matt. Breaking news. Diana Zaviolova is striking again. 4 in a row for her after starting with an open.
Here, I thought she couldn't carry.
She has been complaining about her carry all week, but sure seems to be okay this game. She's got 5 in a row now. Off to the left of the featured pairs. Well, we certainly appreciate everybody spending some time with us here this morning on Bowl TV. We're watching some of the best women bowlers in the world compete here at the BPAA Women's All-Star event. Wendy McPherson leading Jody Westner by 17 pins with a spare. Alicia Curran working on 3 in a row, trailing by 1, can take the lead with a strike here. And instead, she leaves the 6-10. So she trails by 3. Well, this game will take us to the halfway point of this morning's session. Updated standings from our fantastic tournament director, John Lucido. Paula Vidal in the lead on the senior U.S. Open side, just by 38 pins. Tish Johnson in second place now. Lucy Sandlin in third. Linda Kelly has moved into fourth place. So Mandy Wilson has now dropped out of the top 4. But Mandy just 11 pins back of fourth. Sharon Powers in sixth place. Jan Schmidt 7th. Lil Johnson in 8th. And they still have 4 games to go down there to determine their stepladder finals, which will be live coming up this afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern. Diana Zabialova 6 strikes in a row now, opening the first and then 6 in a row. Got a big lead on Cassandra Lutholt this game. Wendy with an open. Hits 2 the hard way on that split. She still leads by 13 pins. iJam's up 3, 9th frame. Comes up light and leaves the 5. Joan Taylor is watching. Hi, Joan. Thanks for tuning in. Sent me a tweet. And, that's worth a retweet for sure. Joan out in Pennsylvania. I've seen her in the last couple of years at the Masters. So, Joan, nice to hear from you. Hope you're doing well. And thanks for tuning in. She says that she loves watching these women bowl. Great lesson on dealing with a tough shot. Thanks, Lucas and Matt, everyone else. You're welcome. Thanks for tuning in, Joan. Wessner with a blowout 7 there. Still had a chance to claw her way back in for a win this game, but it's going to be real tough. McPherson in good shape to win this game against Wessner. Close one here between Current and iJams. Just a 3-pin difference going into the 10th. Both players working on spares. iJams will start off the 10th. There she is. Pretty good shot, but oof, leaves the bucket, and the count is brutal for iJams as she falls now into a 1-pin deficit. iJams picks up the difficult bucket. Looks like we have the awesome Kelly Kulik coming into our featured pairs for next game.
Every spare the last 3 days. I missed 3 today.
So she made every spare the last 3 days, but she's missed 3 today, 3 easy ones. Kelly looking a little bit frustrated. Well, here we go. Alicia Current, chance to pick up a win here. Looks like 9 spare 9 would be enough here in the 10th. Crosses over. Oof. Leaves the 6-pin. Good morning to Libby Fletcher, who's watching in Michigan. Thanks for tuning in, Libby. And by the way, hello to Dave Wadka, who's watching. Dave, you'll probably want an update on Diana. She is got 198 in the 8th frame with a strike in the 9th, so probably going to put up one of the biggest games of the day, I would say, if Diana strikes out. She can shoot 258. Alicia makes the spare, so she is going to need 9 on the fill to win this game by 1. And I would say that 9 today is not a given, for sure. You just see Wendy McPherson get 7 on the fill. But she was easily ahead, 191, 177. She beats Jody Wessner. Shannon O'Keefe beats Liz Johnson this game. Shannon can shoot 212, Liz shot 195. And here is the final ball of this game for Alicia Current, who needs 9 pins to win by 1. Gets a strike. Pretty good shot. 191, 189. Alicia Current wins game 4 against Allie IJams. Thanks to Ryan Graham, who sent a tweet saying that he's watching the live streaming here at the BPAA All-Star. He even tagged you in your Twitter, Matt. Matt getting a shout out on Twitter. Thanks again. He says he's watching from Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
See, got a new follower today. I'm catching up.
Looks like we're going to have Brittany Hamilton against Alicia Current. It's coming up on 11 and 12. Diana doubles in the 10th, so Matt, I think 258 is going to be easily the highest game we've seen so far today. And that's probably, I mean, we don't know what else went on that game, but that's probably going to extend her lead, I would imagine, by a little bit.
No surprise that, that Diana's striking again. She should be coming our way here.
Yeah, I think we may have her next game.
First 3 games today. Shane Pluhowski closed the gap a little bit. Diana making moves here in game number 4. 257, 188 over Sandra Luthold. Diana picks up 87 pins there.
That's huge. 250 is, you know, almost like shooting 300 on this pattern. Kelly Kulik against Diana Zavialova for game 5 on 9 and 10. Yeah, 4 more games to go here in our morning session. And our senior U.S. Women's Open Stepladder finals scheduled to start at around 2 p.m. Eastern. If for some reason they were to decide to start that earlier, I don't think they will. We'll let you know on our Facebook and Twitter accounts for USBC. Kelly Kulik starts off with a strike. Gilly's 2-2 in her matches today. Diana 3-1. Alicia Current's 4-0. Brittany Hamilton is 2-2. First shot for Diana this game. Boy, she pulled that one and held in the pocket and struck. You can tell she didn't like it. Just got the updated standings in from John Lucido. And as expected, Diana has increased her lead. Diana now leading by 125 pins after 4 games today. Shannon Plahowski is in second. Jen Higgins is in third, and she's another 82 pins back of second. So Diana's opened up a 207 pin lead from first to third. It's pretty good. Certainly, not enough to like put her locked into the show or anything for tomorrow, but got to look for trends like that. Shannon O'Keefe, 4th place. Missy Parkin in 5th, and Alicia Current in 6th place. O'Keefe and Current, the only ones who are undefeated in match play, 4-0, and it's an extra 120 pins, which is pretty sizable. Those bonus pins are huge, given the low-scoring nature of this tournament. Hamilton leading by 10 against Current. Kelly Kulik up by 12 against Saviolova. Diana in the third, trailing by 12. Zavialova and Kulik both working on doubles. Kulik up 12 in the match. Diana leaves it 2-8-10 in the fifth, so she's going to fall a little bit further behind in this game. Alicia Current leading by 3. We're in the fifth frame of that one. Watching live coverage of the BPAA Women's All-Star match play here, round-robin match play at the Cherry Bowl in Rockford, Illinois. Kelly Kulik working on 3 in a row, 6th frame. And she punches another strike, 4 consecutive for Kelly Kulik, and she leads by 47 this game. Well, Diana working on a strike, a chance to narrow the gap here a little bit. She can put a double on the board. Strike here, she's down 36. Pretty good shot. Current leading Hamilton by 15. 3.5 frames to go. Updated standings from the senior event. Paula Vidal still in the lead by 68 pins. Tish Johnson second. Lucy Sandelin in third. Linda Kelly in fourth. There's a 200 pin difference between third and fourth. So your top three look like they're pretty solid. And then pretty tight. Just 17 pins separating fourth from sixth. Linda Kelly, Mandy Wilson, Sharon Powers. We'll have to see how that plays out in the last 3 games down there. Kelly with a split in the 9th. Open frame puts her at 194 in the 9th frame. Kelly on pace to shoot 214. Diana can strike out for 212. Brittany Hamilton down 12 heading into the 10th. Both players working on strikes. And she leaves the 4-6-7 split. So Alicia Current looks like she's going to win game 5. Pick up the bonus pins and stay undefeated. Diana is going to take a loss here against Kelly Kulik. But a loss in a 199 game, not too bad. Kelly going to be probably in the 2 teens this game. $150 for Brittany Hamilton. Alicia Current can get to 194.
Oh, you guys have to work today? Oh.
All right, so we're in game number 6. We've got games 6, 7, and 8 to go here this morning. This round, we've got Missy Parkin against Brittany Hamilton. And we've got Liz Johnson against Diana Zavialova. And Matt, I told you people like to watch live streaming while they're at work. Jamie Foster sending a tweet saying that thank you, Lucas Wiseman and USBC, for live streaming while I'm at work. Really enjoying it. So thanks, Jamie, for watching, and don't get yourself in trouble. Updated standings, Diana Zavialova in first place. 50-34 for her. Shannon Plahowski in second at 49-65. So Diana leads by 69 pins. Shannon O'Keefe is in third place. Sandra Luthold in fourth. Deandra Asbeatty in fifth. Liz Johnson in sixth. Jen Higgins seventh. Kelly Kulik in eighth place. And Alicia Current, the only one with a perfect record so far. 150 bonus pins for her. She's 5-0. And you can see those results. I believe they're scrolling on the monitors. Yeah, and those do include bonus pins. Somebody asked that question earlier if they included bonus pins on the scrolling standings, and they do. Diana looking for a double. Look at her send that 10-pin sideways. It's tough being that talented. She's laughing about it over there. Brittany Hamilton leaves the 2-pin. Again, we're in game 6 of 8 this morning. And once we finish this block, we'll have the senior women's U.S. Open stepladder finals coming up just a little bit after we finish up here. I got to do a re-oil, so get all set for that. It's scheduled for 1 p.m. Central Time. I actually think I'm going to go ask John Lucido just to make sure that they're not going to start that any earlier than that, since things are going pretty quick. I know they got to do a re-oil, but I'm going to go ask John that real quick. So I'm going to leave it in the capable hands of Mr. Matthew Cannizzaro, everybody.
All right, well, here we are. Lucas gave you the rundown of the standings. Zavialova on top. Plahowski, O'Keefe, Luthold, and Asbeatty rounding out the top 5. It's been a roller coaster. Some players up and down the standings. Brittany Hamilton came into the day 16th. Got up as high as 10th. She's back down to 15th now. Jody Westner started the day number 2. Now down to 11th. Nearing the halfway point of today's competition. Still a long, long way to go. Right now we're watching Missy Parkin take on Brittany Hamilton and Liz Johnson against your leader, Diana Zavialova. We appreciate everybody's support, both in the chat room today and on social media. Twitter, the next big thing, huh? It's gonna catch on. So Hamilton with her first strike here in game number 6. 14-pin lead over Parkin. And on the right side here, 11 and 12, Zavilova and Liz Johnson. No doubt that's going to be a great match. Johnson with a triple already, out to an early lead. We're at the halfway point. Johnson trying to make her way into the top 5. She's just 13 pins out right now behind Deandra Asbady.
All right, so I did talk to John Alacido, and definitely going to start at 1 o'clock with the senior stepladder, which is what I assumed, but you never know, so I wanted to double check. But 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern Time is when the senior U.S. Women's Open stepladder finals will be live here on Bowl TV. Open frame for Zavialova in the 6th. Liz Johnson is working on 3 strikes in a row. Oh, and Liz breaks up the 7-10 and takes the strike as the 10 falls backwards a little late. And a nice break for Liz Johnson. 4 strikes in a row. Just tuning in, you're watching our live coverage of the BPAA Women's All-Star Tournament here on Bowl TV. Got a lot of live streaming for you today. We've got the stepladder finals of this event tomorrow, and then a week from Saturday, Matt and I head to Hong Kong. And we've got a few days of setup there, and we'll get started streaming. Well, let's see, gotta look at the schedule again, but it's around August the 6th or so. You can find the live stream schedule at bowl.com/livestream. That's always where we update it, and it's always in Eastern Time. And actually, it's August 7th is our first day of live streaming. Eastern Time at 9 p.m. Eastern is the girls singles qualifying portion of the World Youth Championships. So a lot of the times when we're in Hong Kong at the World Youth, you're going to be able to tune in the evening for a few hours before you go to bed, and then we'll be still on in the morning when you wake up. We'll live stream all through the night. And it's always going to be available on demand if you can't tune in all the time. So again, yeah, our live streaming of the World Youth Championships coming up next month, and In September, I'm going to be heading to Cali, Colombia. We'll be doing live streaming of the PABCON Women's Championships, where the Team USA women will hope to qualify for the Pan American Games. November, live streaming of the World Cup in Poland. And December, live streaming of the World Men's Championships in Abu Dhabi. Continue the worldwide tour here on Bowl TV.
The globetrotting Lucas Wiseman.
That's right. Taking you along on the next one, though, to Hong Kong. That'll be a good trip.
You appreciate being in the right place at the right time.
Opportunity of a lifetime, right, Matt?
I thought I'd already had that, but it just gets better. Things are not getting better for Zabielova, however. She has fallen well behind here as Liz Johnson is making a move here. 5 in a row. She's only 230 pins behind Diana. Diana, your leader, of course. But the main objective, get into the top 5 for the stepladder. The higher you are, the less games you have to bowl for the title. But you can't win it if you're not in it. There's 13 pins behind Deandra Beatty. Just 32 pins out of 3rd place right now. So very tight between 3rd to 7th. Top 2 starting to pull ahead a little bit, Pluhowski and Zabielova. And on the senior side, they're cruising along. 6 games in the books already, so we're minutes away from finding out who's going to be in today's stepladder. Paula Verdad, the defending champion here at the Senior Women's US Open, on top. She has a sizable lead over Tish Johnson, followed by Lucy Sandelin, last year's Triple Crown winner, 2013 Senior Queens champion. And 4th is Linda Kelly. So 3 consecutive USBC Hall of Famers there behind Paula Verdad. They're in Game 7 right now. They're just bowling 8. And then we'll have our 4 finalists for you. Lucas has given you the schedule for today. Stepladder coming up in just a couple hours.
Yep, the Senior Women's US Open Stepladder Finals at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern here on Bowl TV this afternoon. The Senior Women's Triple Crown Championship match will be at some point this afternoon, probably around 4:30 Central Time. And then at 6 p.m. Central Time, back on the air with the final 8 games of round-robin match play here at the BPAA Women's All-Star. Liz Johnson putting on a show, going to bowl the highest game we've seen all day here if she strikes out in the 10th. Diana is going to lose her 2nd match in a row, but shot 199 and lost last time, not the end of the world. And now she can shoot 227 and lose, which again, not losing too much ground when you shoot 227 and lose on this tough condition.
Lucas James to our left is striking quite a bit. She's still got 250 out there. So she could...
Do you think she can catch Diana after this game? Diana's going to be at 206 with a loss. And Plahowski can be 256 with a win. That'd be 80 pin pickup in one game. Diana's been in the lead for a while now.
Well, Diana only up 69 coming into this game. So
it looks like if Plahowski doubles or goes strike in the 9th, doubles in the 10th, she will move ahead of her, I think. She would pick up 80 pins on Diana if she strikes out. So yeah, could have our first change at the top of the standings for the day here. Looks like Shannon struck again, huh? 9th frame. We'll keep an eye on that. Here's Missy Parkin working on a double. Pulls it through the face and leaves the split. Liz Johnson trying to strike out here. She's got 7 in a row after starting with a couple of spares. Liz looking pretty dialed in.
Plahowski cannot catch Diana this game, but she has closed the gap to single digits almost.
And Liz snaps the 10 out for another strike.
Liz, however, is going to pick up 100 pins here.
279 game for Liz Johnson, so she'll pick up more than 100 pins on Diana Zavialova. Shannon, 9 spare in the 10th, so Diana's still going to be in the lead. Scoring pace picking up a little bit as we move along here. 279 is about as good as it gets on this pattern, it seems like, this week. And a great game for Liz Johnson.
So we're watching the final frame here between Missy Parkin and Brittany Hamilton. Hamilton up 24 pins. She can shoot 214. Missy can only get to 190. So this one is done. Hamilton trying to climb back out. She's dropped all the way back down to 15th place. Parkin came into this game in 10th. Hamilton punches for 214 and the win. Things get worse for Parkin here at the tail end of game number 6.
Yeah, everybody's getting ready to move to the next pair here. We've got 2 games to go. This first 8-game block of round-robin match play, 167 for Missy Parkin, 214 for Brittany Hamilton. Looks like Missy's just going to move to the right. We'll have her again for game 7. I think she might be mulling Marsha Klemkin in this next match. Liz Johnson against Deandra Esbady and Missy Parkin against Marsha Klemkin here in game 7.
Sorry. Yeah, it was like right there. It was the deck backwards right there. For the cat? For the what? It looks like the deck backwards. Might have been. I swear it's right there.
Oh no, it's on your shoe. Well, at least Liz told you. You would have done your left hand. No. Oh, okay. I just would have made it track.
All right, so Mother Nature trying to put a halt to game number 7, but we're back in business here. Missy Parkin and Marsha Klemkin. Liz Johnson, Deandra Esbady. Certainly going to be a couple of great matches here. We've got the standings now through 6 games. As we mentioned, Zabielova holding a slim lead, just 14 pins over Shannon Puchowski. Liz Johnson jumps all the way up to 3rd, though she is 115 back. Shannon O'Keefe is 4th. Kelly Kulik now in 5th place. Cassandra Luthold just outside the top 5. 3 pins out. Still very tight. Anybody from, it looks like, 12th can get into the top 5 with a good game here. So a lot of excitement, some ups and downs, and still a long way to go. Not quite the halfway point of match play here. We'll have 2 more games here this morning, and then they'll be back tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern for the second half. 8 more games to determine who the top 5 will be for the stepladder finals. And until Liz Johnson's 279 1 game ago, looked like we were going to see some separation from the top 2 here, but Liz back in the mix. And it always gets more exciting the closer we get to the TV show. Not a huge crowd on hand in person today. We do appreciate everybody joining us in the chat room. You are watching the first half of match play here at the 2014 BPAA Women's All-Star. This is Matt Canizaro and Lucas Wiseman. We're live at the Cherry Bowl in Rockford, Illinois. There's nearly the hometown favorite, Deandra Beatty from Chicago, not too far away. There's Liz coming off of a 279. That's the highest game we've seen, possibly all week. I know a couple bowlers had front 8, front 9.
I think we had a couple of 279s this week so far, but I don't know that we had anything higher than that.
Very challenging 39-foot condition. That's what you'd expect from this event. The All-Star, of course, eventually became the U.S. Women's Open. And now a one-year hiatus for the Open allows us to celebrate women's bowling, and they did that just the other night. This is where it all began, Rockford, Illinois. 103 bowlers turned out this week for the All-Star and the Senior Women's U.S. Open. So Liz right on pace for 279 again. Starts with a double. Early lead over Deandra, but Deandra working on a strike here on lane 10. Missy Parkin and Marsha Klumpkin battling. 7-10 is gonna keep Deandra from catching back up here. So as we talked about, as the day progresses, easier to get to the pocket, but carry still a challenge. This Kegel ice oil, very slick. Player said the more they saw the pattern throughout the week, the tighter it got down lane. They're starting to migrate left here late in the block. They pretty much started all on top of each other outside, breaking down the oil pattern, and then able to move left. Have a little room to the right. Oh no, Lucas, we saw earlier Diana. She tugged a couple of shots and it seemed to just hold pocket like it was a house shot almost, and then some of the other players missed left and it duck hooks. Maybe Diana's got a few tricks.
Yeah, lane's still pretty tough. Scores a little bit higher than they were on the fresh this morning, but still definitely pretty challenging out there right now. It's about a game and a half to go. I
think for research purposes one time we should get out there and bowl a couple games on the pattern, so we can have a first-hand idea what's going on. Yeah, as talented as we are on the lanes.
Got about a game and a half to go here, and then we'll have a break, get geared up for the stepladder of the senior women's U.S. Open coming up at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern this afternoon. They should be just about done down there, I think. Maybe they're either getting ready for their position round. I think they're getting ready for their position round down there.
Big double for Deandra after the 7-10. Keeps her in it. Nearly 700 people tuning in, ladies, for the sweet sounds of Mr. Wiseman. Or a lot of people out there don't want to do any work today.
Probably true.
Johnson tries to answer and rings the 10. Klump is going to step up on lane 12, looking for 3 in a row of her own. She had a great finish yesterday to get into the top 16 solidly. Technology, Mr. Wiseman. Not my best friend.
Mine either this morning.
Not yours today, as our MacBook looks like he wants to self-destruct.
Yeah, having some issues with the equipment this morning. That's why we've had to restart a couple of times. But
So the Wiseman jinx, when you got the front 9 and front 10, and when Lucas is around, you're guaranteed not to shoot 300. I think that the Canizaro jinx just means that if I'm anywhere nearby, technology is going to go haywire.
yeah, that's true. I'm hoping that we can get through the rest of this block here without having to do a restart. Only got about a game and a half to go.
We certainly are cruising along. Got started at 9 a.m. Central, or 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. here. Right, here's our latest look at the senior women's U.S. Open standings. Defending champion Paula Vidad still on top. 107 pins ahead of Tiff Johnson, followed by Lucy Sandelin and Linda Kelly, a trio of USBC Hall of Famers. Sharon Powers, a close 5th, 30 pins out of the number right now. So they should have an exciting position round. 30 pins. That means she has to win her match. She has to beat Mandy Wilson. Could be a nail biter. So Sharon Powers still with an outside chance of making the step ladder. We'll have that for you next on Bowl TV. But right now, game 7 of 8.
Yeah, Deandra Beatty with 4 in a row. And gonna get the 7 out? Nope. We'll end the string of strikes for her. She leads by 10 against Liz Johnson. Marsha Klemkin leading by 5 against Missy Parkin.
Deandra fell 3 spots after game 6. So. Lots of movement in the standings, as it should be. Keeps it exciting. Parkin's been struggling a little bit here, and there's a good shot there and still not rewarded. Good shot there from Johnson. She's in her wheelhouse right now, Lucas. Playing off the corner, firing it, and it is working. 270 last game. She does 247 out there here in game 7. Three in a row for Liz. Got ourselves a match. Deandra is gonna step up. She's gonna finish first. She's got the 9th and 10th coming right up.
And down by 10. Really needs to strike here in the 9th frame. Give herself a chance to punch out the 10th. Does get the strike. Her max score is 237. Liz Johnson can shoot 247.
Marsha with the bucket, a side of potatoes or whatever.
Got half of them on that.
5 count, but on a strike, so doesn't lose any count there.
Big shot here for Az Beatty's. First shot in the 10th is a strike, and that evens the match. Guarantees Liz is going to have to do some work in the 10th frame. She wants to win, but Liz cannot be shut out this game.
So one side we've got a high scoring match. The other side, nobody wants it.
Big shot for Az Beatty. Puts her in the 230s, and that's going to force, if she strikes again, it'll force Liz to double. To win. Exactly what Liz has to do will depend on this fill ball here. Brutal 8-pin there for Missy Parkin in the 8th. Here's Deandra's fill ball. That's important. She gets 9, which is not the end of the world. So if Liz goes strike 9 spare, she would shoot 236. And we would have a tie, and they would each get 15 bonus pins. But Liz does need a double to win the game. a double to win the game. Here's the first shot in the 10th. It's a strike.
So Lucas, somebody asked what Liz was throwing, and that is the hyper self. And throwing it very well. Again, 279 last game. And 240 still out there here. So at this point in the day, her and Shannon Pluhowski looking the best, having the best look, and just as she's getting going, there's only one game left.
That's right. They bowl on the fresh again this evening.
Then a 7-hour break. 7 p.m. Eastern. But here's Liz for the win. Needs it.
Got it. Puts Liz in the 240s. She's going to take the win here against Deandra Asbady in a high-scoring match.
I think she's a little bit inspired. I know this morning they've been showing old ESPN Classic Ladies Tour telecasts on the monitors in between the scoreboards here. And she was distracted from her preparations to see Liz Johnson 2002 up on TV.
Diana Zavialova shot 232 this game and picks up a win. So Liz makes up just a little bit of ground.
Looks like Pluhowski striking as well. She's going to be in the 220s with a win also. So
246-236, Liz Johnson wins that game against Asbady.
I guess Liz is lined up.
7-pin lead for Marsha Klemkin here with just the 10th frame to go. Marsha working on a strike and Missy working on an open.
Hey, Lucas, nobody wants to win this one. It's been back and forth all game. Marsha had the only double back in the 3rd and 4th.
Well, once we know who the winner is for sure in this match, we're going to have to reboot the computer again real quick before the last game starts. Because otherwise, I'm not sure that it's going to make it through the last game.
36.
There's a strike from Marsha, and that should lock it up, right, Matt? And the best of Missy can shoot 173. That puts Marsha at 170 with not getting another pin down. So she got 2 shots to get like 2 pins.
I hate to call out your math skills, Lucas Wiseman. It's no longer early in the morning.
Oh, you're right. She can go 183. My bad.
Three baggers hard to come by. And she goes high, leaves the 310.
Well, that's enough either way. All right, so we're going to step away here for a moment, take the stream down back for the last game here in just a couple of minutes. Stand by. We'll be right back. All right, we're back with you here now with our final game of this block. Game number 8. And after 7 games, Diana Zavialova is still in the lead. She leads by just a slight margin over Shannon Pluhowski, who's now in 2nd place again. Well, still in 2nd place, I should say. Liz Johnson in third, Kelly Kulik in fourth, and Alicia Current in fifth place. Actually, a tie for fifth. Current and Asbeatty tied for fifth place. Sandra Lutholt in seventh. Shannon O'Keefe has dropped all the way to eighth now. Jody Westner in ninth, and Jen Higgins in 10th. Got Danielle McEwen against Deandra Asbeatty this game on 11 and 12. Jody Westner against Alicia Current on 9 and 10. To wrap up this opening round of match play here at the BPAA Women's All-Star. Again, you can see the standings scrolling on the scoreboards. The All-Star standings on 9 and 10. The senior standings on 11 and 12. Still have a lot of games left in the All-Star competition, though. 8 more games this evening, starting at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern here on Bowl TV. Again, heading into our final game of the morning session, Diana Zavialova leading by just 19 pins over Shannon Plahowski. Liz Johnson in third. Liz is 116 pins off the lead. Kelly Kulik in fourth, and she is about 200 pins at first. Diana Zavialova off to the left of our featured pairs this game. Spare triple to start for her. Senior Women's U.S. Open Stepladder Finals coming up live here on Bowl TV in about 2 hours, less than 2 hours from now. little more than a half a game to go here this morning. Jody.
Winner 04, Alicia Curran, 2011 Queens runner-up, and the 2012 Queens champion, Deandra Beatty, now up with the strike. She's down early to her Team USA teammate, Danielle McEwen. Deandra taking the year off from Team USA now. And, the recent arrival of her second child.
Yeah, first time in a long time that Deandra's not been on Team USA, but I bet she'll be back. Pin lead for Jody Westner against Alicia Curran. It's our 6th frame of our final game of the morning session. Danielle McEwen up by 25 on Deandra Beatty. Nice shot by Westner. Strike in the 6th. Again, she's still leading by a mark. Danielle's up by a couple of marks here.
Getting some good breaks though. She rolled a couple pins on her last shot, rolled a couple there. Leaves just the 2. Here comes Tish Johnson. Getting ready to put her stuff nearby.
I guess it's a pretty safe bet that Tish made the stepladder since she's coming down here to the lanes where they're going to bowl the stepladder finals. I think we're going to use 9 and 10 for the Senior Women's U.S. Open stepladder finals. That's coming up in about an hour and 45 minutes or so. We'll have it for you live on Bull TV, the Senior Women's U.S. Open stepladder finals as they wrap things up. Our All-Stars are back on the lanes this evening at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time for their final 8-game block. And the stepladder final is going to take place tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern here on Bull TV.
I don't know, Lucas. If you had just made the stepladder, would you want to wait 2 hours before you got to bowl?
Well, they've got to re-oil, so there's at least going to be a break for that. I did ask about that, and they said that they want to give them an opportunity to take a break and have some lunch if they want to, and get mentally prepared for the stepladder finals.
I believe we need to mentally prepare as well. So that's
yes.
Good. It works out. Timing is good.
Try some software upgrades to keep our system from having issues, hopefully. On the flip side, hopefully it doesn't, I don't ruin it, and it keeps it from coming back on this afternoon. But either way, we always find a way to get the live stream up.
Diana striking away, trying to pull back ahead.
Yeah, spare triple, spare double for Diana to start game 8.
From here, it looks like Pluhowski won't let up. She's got a string of strikes, at least the front 5 down there. They're almost done with their game, but we'll get those updated standings as soon as we can. We'll have them online as well.
That's the plan.
Just nearing the halfway point of match play.
Jody was looking to get that 10 out for 3 in a row. She'll have to settle for the spare and being up by 20 in this match. And I think it would be Alicia Current's first loss of the day. She's got 210 bonus pins, which indicates to me a perfect 7-0 record. The only player who is undefeated today. Jenna Plahowski has got 1 loss, 6-1.
So he's 7-0 and just climbing up to the 5th spot. Current did come into today at plus 71 in the 14th spot in the standings, so excellent run for her today. Right now though, Liz Johnson with the momentum. 270, 240 and a pair of victories. Struggling here in the finale. As Beatty on the losing end of one of those Liz Johnson games. But 236, as Jim Callahan said as you walked by, it's like shooting 2-0 and winning.
Yep.
Especially on this challenging condition where 2-0 is a good game. Current running out of room, not much more she can do.
Yeah, Current down 21 with spare coming here and 10th frame to go.
So she can strike out for 206, and I don't know if the theory works the same if you say it's the same as shooting 170 and winning.
Probably not.
But certainly a great run for Alicia this morning, making her way up almost 10 spots.
If she could find a way to strike out here and get to 206, that'd be pretty huge.
So she's
Even
actually
though she's
tied with Deandra right
Yeah.
now for the 5th spot.
Deandra's going to shoot 190 and lose. So Alicia will stay ahead of her for sure. But they're still going to be just a couple of pins apart. Deandra ends up shooting 190. Danielle McEwen can get to 237.
Wave to everyone. What? I don't know if this thing was
Deandra says she waves to everyone. I saw it. Deandra likes to ham it up for the camera sometimes. Oh, top 4 for the seniors. Paula Vidal, Tish Johnson, Lucy Sandlin, and Linda Kelly. So that's our top 4.
Terrible step ladder. I mean, who are these people?
We've got, what, 3 Hall of Famers and our defending champion.
3, yeah.
So again, Paul Vidal, top seed, Tish Johnson, number 2 seed, Lucy Sandelin, the number 3 seed, and Linda Kelly, the number 4 seed for the stepladder finals of the Senior Women's U.S. Open, coming up in about an hour and 40 minutes here on Bowl TV.
We're probably not going to have anything to talk about during that.
Yeah, it should be pretty exciting. Stepladders are always great too, because it's just like television, format, so it's pretty interesting. We'll have to see how that plays out. We got pretty good field, as we would expect for our senior event.
Last year's winner, Tish Johnson, also back-to-back runner-up finishes at the Senior Queens. Lucy Sandelin, last year's Senior Queens winner and Triple Crown champion. Linda Kelly, the Hall of Famer. Hasn't been in the spotlight too much in recent years, but still obviously very talented. So we'll have that for you coming up at 2 p.m. Eastern. But right now, we're going to watch Jody Wessner finish off Alicia Current, handing her first loss of today.
And Dania McEwen won 223 to 190 against Deandra Beatty. It looks like Diana Zavialova is going to be in the 220s this game and win. Jody has one more ball to go, so we've got one more shot to throw here, and then we'll be taking the stream down offline for about an hour and 40 minutes until we get started with our Senior U.S. Women's Open stepladder finals.
Not sure how things turned out down on the far end, but we could potentially have a new leader in the All-Star. If not, the gap closed a little bit. So something to look forward to. I bet everybody sitting on the edges of their seats waiting to find out. Match play continues tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern right here on Bowl TV. After that 8 games, we'll know who our top 5 will be, and that's going to do it. Jody Wessner 216, Alicia Current 193.
All right, we'll be back on the air, and like I said, a little bit more than an hour and a half from now with our senior stepladder. So be sure to join us at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern for the Senior Women's U.S. Open stepladder finals here on Bowl TV. We'll see you guys back here then.